We join with other UUs in the tradition of inviting the gong 3 times. Once in remembrance of those who have lived, built, and nurtured this congregation before us. Once with appreciation to all of us calling it home today. And once with anticipation and hope for those who will be part of the congregation in the future. Good morning. It is Sunday, May 3rd, 2026. My name's Kathy Mitchell, and I'm your service leader for today. We want to welcome everyone joining us online and in person to the Umpqua Unitarian Universalist congregation. Here you can be yourself, but not by yourself. Whomever you love, however you describe yourself or name the holy, you are welcome here. We especially welcome those of you who are here for the first time and those recently new to us and returning again. We're so glad that you're here with us today. Everyone, please stay for coffee, tea, and conversation after the service so we can all get to know one another better. We begin our service with the acknowledgement that our congregation rests on the unceded lands of indigenous people, including the Cow Creek Band of the Umpqua tribe. Their name graces our congregation and the river that flows through this land. We make this land acknowledgement in recognition of the Cow Creek Umpqua, the Yankalakalapuya, the Southern Malala, and other tribes who have been forcibly displaced, yet who continue to live, lead, create, and belong here. May this acknowledgement move us toward repair, relationship, and right action. As Unitarian Universalists, we are diverse in faith. We think for ourselves and we honor how life experience influences our personal beliefs. Unitarian Universalism is its own faith tradition. We come from radical roots and a long history of people who sought a faith grounded in freedom, reason, and love. We are united, not because we all believe the same thing, but because we share a commitment to seek truth, practice compassion, and build a more just and loving world. Our practices differ, our languages for the holy differ, but the tradition we share is real, a faith shaped by history, covenant, by conscience, and by community. We have a few announcements this morning. First of all, if you're interested in learning more about the business of the church, please plan to attend the board meeting next Sunday at 12:30. Look over the agenda, which is on the back table, and see if you're interested in coming or have any ideas to contribute. All members and friends are also strongly encouraged to attend our annual congregational meeting on Sunday, May 17th at 12:30. This is when we hear Pastor Eli's report of what they've been doing the past 9 months. We elect new board members. We also vote on the annual budget for the 25-26 church year. Very important meeting for everyone to have input into. You won't want to miss it. Check your email on Tuesday, as you will all be receiving an agenda. Evidently, there was a pair of prescription Foster Grant glasses found on the pulpit last week, if anybody's missing glasses. And finally, please join us for a spring concert featuring multiple personalities and also Liz Jones with special friends. This will be Saturday, May 9th at 2 o'clock here at the church. Donations are welcome and support alternative living solutions to provide safe shelter to unhoused individuals in the community. Suggested donation is $10, whatever you can, to support this important cause, and I will have this information on the back table at the end of the service if you want to refer to that. Are there any other announcements? All right. Additional events are in your order of service along with upcoming events. Much appreciation goes to our staff, Church Administrator Genevieve Gonzalez, Media Director Jake Tranter, and our greeters today, Teresa and Tammy. In our community today, there are many children and adults, housed and unhoused, facing illness, hunger, and without shelter. Acting in compassion for those in need, our service to the larger community is to collect your donations of food and money for the Fish Food Pantry. Our church offering will be later in the service. Your contributions are greatly appreciated and will definitely be put to good use in the community. Our opening words are by Maureen Killeran. As we weather winds of change, may we have wisdom to cherish moments of stillness. As we recollect times of challenge and of pain, may we remember also the graceful blessings of our lives. As we look to future unknowns, may we have the boldness to trust that there is an unimagined good. And now let us say the words of our affirmation together. They're in your order of service. We come together to renew our spirits, to open our hearts, to remember the strength we find in community, and to shape a more just and loving world together. And now please rise as you're able or willing and sing our opening song, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sin
We now take a moment to hold what we're carrying into this day, the joys that have found us, and the worries, griefs, and longings that travel with us too. If you'd like to light a candle, you're invited to come forward and form a line to the left. When you share, please say your name and please keep your by this community's gifts of time, talent, and treasure. Your support is what fuels our congregation's mission and keeps the flame of justice, community, and love burning brightly. If you're a visitor, please be our guest and let the basket pass you by. What is given now is received in appreciation of the support of our shared hopes and values. And now we'll sing our response, From You I Receive. And now we have another song. You can sit or stand or whatever you wish as we sing, There Is a Love. Our speaker today is LaVonne Limpus. LaVonne is a hospice chaplain and third-year seminarian from central Montana, where she grew up, the youngest of 6 in a ranching family. After seminary, she will focus on chaplaincy and pulpit speaking engagements with an emphasis on ritual for healing community. Currently, she works with grief tenders of Grants Pass to educate community leaders about grief through the ritual of forest bathing.
Good morning. Thank you for having me back. Such an honor to come each and every time. Such a nice trip from Grants Pass over here. As she mentioned, I am in seminary and I had no intention of doing chaplaincy, but when you are in seminary, you do have to take what they call chaplaincy pastoral education hours, and those are credits that you need towards your degree. So I went ahead and begrudgingly signed up for this and spent a summer working in the Three Rivers Hospital and just fell in love with it. And then I decided, well, I'll just go and see if I can do some hours with hospice. It seemed like a challenge that I wanted to play with, and I went over and I did my onboarding as a volunteer, and they approached me and said, hey, you should apply for this job. And I was like, wait a second. Everything kind of happened really quickly. So I, as of December, was hired as the hospice chaplain for Josephine County. So it's been incredibly life-changing work, and just really great to connect with you all today on this particular topic. It's so close to my heart. So there's a moment in hospice work, and some of you know it from your own caregiving journeys, when a person begins to shed the layers they've worn their whole lives, the layers that helped them survive, the layers that kept them defended, the layers that kept them separate. And all those layers fall away. When left, it's something startling in its simplicity, something tender, something profoundly human. I sometimes think of it like peeling an onion, not in the sense of tears, though there are plenty of those, but in the sense of being peeled down to the core, down to what is essential, down to what is true. End of life has a way of doing that. It strips away the costumes we wear in public. It dissolves the stories we tell about ourselves. It softens the rigid places we thought we would never move. And if we're paying attention, if we are willing to stay present, we get to witness a person returning to their simplest humanity. And sometimes we get peeled right down alongside them. This is a quick story. I call it the patient I didn't expect to love. When I first met this patient, he was very angry, not just irritated or grumpy, but angry in a way that filled the room, angry at politics, angry at those people, angry at the world changing, and angry at the world not changing fast enough. And he was racist, openly and unapologetically racist. And he didn't hide it from me. He didn't soften it because I was a chaplain. He didn't try to be polite. I remember thinking, this is gonna be a long road. But hospice doesn't let you stay at the surface, not for very long. So I kept showing up. I kept sitting with him. I kept listening, not to agree, not to endorse, but to understand what was underneath all of that. And slowly, something began to shift. Not because I tried to change him and not because I confronted him, but because dying has a way of peeling us down to the truth we've been avoiding. The onion begins to peel. At first, our conversations were all politics, mostly grievances on his part, all the ways the world had disappointed him. But as his illness progressed, the conversations changed. He talked less about those people and more about his people, his children, his wife, and the friends he'd lost. He talked less about the world he feared and more about the world he wished he'd known how to love. He talked less about anger and more about regret, And one day he said something that startled me. He said, "I don't know why I'm telling you all of this." And I said, "Because you're human and I'm human, and this is what humans do when the layers start to fall away, perhaps." And he nodded, and then he cried. And I realized in that moment that I cared for him deeply. This man whose worldviews were so far from my own, this man whose words had stung me, hurt me, made me angry, this man who had lived inside a fortress of fear for so long, and I cared for him, and that sort of shocked me. Not because I didn't want to care, but because I didn't expect to feel that level of tenderness for someone who had caused harm with his beliefs. But that's what happens when the onion gets peeled. You stop seeing the armor, you stop seeing the ideology, you stop seeing the performance, you start seeing the human being underneath it all. Here's the truth I have learned in hospice, and I continue to learn. Most people are not what they pretend to be. Most people are not who they fear they are. Most people are not who their worst moments suggest. Most people are simply trying to make sense of a world that has wounded them. And when death approaches, the wounds rise to the surface. The regret rises to the surface. The longing rises to the surface. And the humanity, the raw, unfiltered, unarmored humanity comes forward. This patient of mine, this man who had spent decades building walls, found himself too tired to hold them up anymore. And when the walls fell, what emerged was not hatred, what emerged was grief. Grief for the life he wished he had lived. Grief for the relationships he had damaged. Grief for the ways fear had shaped him. Grief for the ways he had been shaped by a world that taught him to fear difference. And grief, when finally spoken aloud, has a way of softening everything it touches. In those final weeks, our conversations became quieter, gentler, more honest. He asked me questions about forgiveness. He asked me whether people could change. He asked me whether it was too late for him. And I told him the truth. It's never too late to tell the truth about who you are, and it's never too late to love better than you did yesterday. He didn't become a different person. He didn't rewrite his life story. He didn't suddenly renounce everything he believed. But he softened, and he opened. He allowed himself to be seen. And in that space, something holy happened. We met each other, not as a chaplain and a patient, not as two people on opposite sides of a political chasm, but as two human beings sitting at the edge of mystery, two human beings peeled down to the core. I learned something from him that I carry into every room now. People are not their politics. People are not their prejudices. People are not their worst opinions. People are layered, people are complicated, and people are wounded. And when the layers fall away, what remains is almost always something recognizable, something familiar, something that looks a lot like us. We are all onions. We are all layered with fear, with stories, with defenses, with identities we cling to because they make us feel safe. But underneath all of that is a shared humanity that is older than our divisions and deeper than our disagreements. People sometimes ask me, how can I do this work? How can I sit with the suffering? How can I witness so much loss? And I tell them, because I get to see people at their most human. I get to see the truth of who we are when everything unnecessary falls away. I get to see the tenderness that lives beneath the armor. I get to see the love that survives even when the body cannot. And that gives me hope. Hope that we're more connected than we realize. Hope that we are capable of softening. Hope that even the hardest hearts can crack wide open. Hope that grief, when honored, can lead us back to one another. This patient, this man I never expected to love, he reminded me that humanity is not something we earn. It's something we reveal. It's something we return to. It's something we share. And in the sacred space of end-of-life care, I get to witness that return again and again. May we be people who look beneath these layers. May we be people who stay curious about the humanity inside those we struggle to understand. May we be people who soften before life forces us to. May we be people who practice the kind of presence that allows others to peel down safely. And may we remember that every person, every single one, is carrying a story that, when told honestly, sounds a lot like our own. Amen, and blessed be. I always try to leave.
Sermon responses. I see somebody has her hand up already.
I think this is the first sermon that I've ever listened to with such depth and wanted to say, applause, 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 yay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I hope that we can do that for each other. It has left me with an opening heart that I'm looking for someone to listen to or someone to talk to about what's real. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you. I am always interested in end-of-life and hospice types stories. What is forest bathing?
Forest bathing, it's kind of funny. I probably need to change that to nature bathing, because I'm going to be doing a nature bathing regroup next week for the auxiliary volunteers in both Cave Junction and Grants Pass. But basically what we have discovered, and people probably of ancient times have always known, is that there is healing to be gained in the forest, in nature. And so bathing in the energy of nature, essentially, to bring ceremony, maybe ritual to your life, and to sort of regenerate, especially after grief.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments? Thank you so much,
You're
LaVonne.
welcome. Thank you.
And now we have a closing song, Blue Boat Home, fan favorite.
Low below me, I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. see, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. A blue boat.
As we extinguish this flame, may we carry its warmth into the world, not as a memory, but as a promise. A promise that you deserve a place where your voice matters, where your laughter is treasured and your silence is honored. You deserve a circle that sees your scars and your strength, your doubts and your radiance, and holds them all with care. Let us be that circle for one another, a community of fierce welcome, wild grace, and radical hope. Go knowing you belong here. You always have. And now join in our closing circle as we sing Go Lift It Up.
Moonlight
Thank you for the connection, Jake, if you're there.